All right, cyber traders, good morning and welcome on back to cap off our week here and top of the month, might I say, to all of us here live. Great to see all of us just inside the trading room. Bob, Andrea, Jean, Carol, Ray, Henry, Bill, Kevin, Charles, Nina, Yehuda, Bill, Grant, all of us joining us just before live, and great to see all of us rejoining us back on social media, Facebook Live or YouTube. Of course, folks, this is the last trading day before the 4th of July. So, of course, I know that we'll do the afternoon meeting later on today. We have the whole trading day ahead of us. But I want to say from the top, folks, personally, of course, I speak for myself, but I'm sure many Americans here in our trading room feel the same. I'm happy to be American. I'm so proud to be American, and I'm looking forward to celebrating this 4th of July weekend, as are, I'm sure, a lot of us here. Markets will be closed on Monday, so keep that in mind, obviously, with Monday being the 4th itself. But, even if it was on the weekend, I think that you would have had the technical day off, whether it be today or that Monday. So Monday we are closed. But with that, it's not just 4th of July just coming up on Monday. We actually have Canada Day today. So happy Canada Day to any of our Canadians in the Great White North above us here. We have Leda, we have Andrea, we have a bunch of us, if I'm not mistaken. I know Leda and Andrea are two of our longtime students here currently. We have a bunch of us otherwise. So happy Canada Day. And also today is also actually just Independence Day across the world, just, in a few different nations. So, that just the more you know, and I never realized that. So, this whole weekend is going to be a nice celebration of independence. So with that in mind, folks, let's hop to it here. Although we're going to be celebrating today, I'll tell you what, this is going to be a very slow, crappy market day. And, I don't mean to sound pessimistic. I don't mean to be a negative Nancy here, but I've been around the block here before, as have Grant and Leda and Bill and Norman and Ron and Michael and a lot of our longtime students that have recently chatted us here. So it's to say that we know that this is going to be slow. Norman says summer is slow. Yes and no. Normally the volume dips off heading into the summer traditionally, but there's always opportunity in the summer. So I'm not as pessimistic about summer trading at this point. Hey, folks, for all of us live inside the trading room, can you hear me? And for all of us on social media, just down. One more time here. I think that we're going to be good to go here. My fingers crossed. I don't know what just happened for all of us on YouTube, Facebook Live, for all of us live inside the trading room. Are we good? We should be good to go. All right, we'll expedite this meeting. knowing that we had a little tech issue, it seems like. So with that said, VMRE is on the screen to begin with. This is one of just a few stocks that were like kind of moving in pre-market. It is a crappy morning. I guess a good day to have tech issues nonetheless, right? That's a blessing in disguise. But I was just saying before, this is going to be a crappy, slow day, folks. And there's going to be a couple pops here and there. So trust me, we're going to make the same call outs that we always make. But for you as a trader, don't force anything out there. We always say that to begin with, but this is like the pinnacle day to just keep that in mind. You know, things are going to get very slow quick. I phrased it like 3 or 4 different ways, you know, in the chat board earlier this morning with, you know, just today's going to be a good day to get some errands done. You know, it's going to be slow out there, not a whole lot happening out there, right? So the VMRE trade is on the screen here. It looks like it's a new SPAC, special purpose acquisition company. Some news regarding, you know, liquidation of like 1.5 million share buyback program they announced. So, you know, if this ends up pushing up any higher, perfect. But, you know, I'll put it on our list. But even with this, like, it's just flat right now. It's been dropping off after the pop. I did call out support on this trade off of 235 to 240. So, you know, that is a level I have lined up just this morning on this trade. Now, Grant says the REV otherwise was a gift this morning. The pop, at least in the morning, it was after like, you know, 8:15 going into 8:30. Agreed. You know, we were really like scraping the bottom of the barrel to try and find some call outs to make folks right. And again, we're not going to force anything. So, you know, the chat board was relatively quiet for a bit. And all of a sudden, Grant and Norman, 2 of our longtime students, were, you know, noticing REV. And hey, it ended up leading to a nice breakout at the time. Norman caught like 32 or 33 cents, somewhere around there. You know, a couple of us went in and out on that trade for, you know, 12, 15 cent scalp. You know, hey, for right now, this is looking relatively active too. Actually, a lot more active in terms of a direction compared to the VMRE right now. So, you know, I'll put REV on our watch list, you know, as well. But let's go right from top to bottom here, folks. Let's just kind of quickly skim through and see what else we got. We got a bunch of cheapies to top off the gainer side here. I actually was trading the AKBA this morning out of all things. I was hoping for this to, you know, really make a nice push up. You know, it took a while, but I was scanning through myself, and this trade, it broke above 50 cents. So I took a quick entry right over 51. This stock, like, every tick is not necessarily a penny. It could be a fraction of a penny. So that's what you're seeing on level 2. So I got filled at like 51.5 cents or something like that. Moved up pretty nicely at first, but then it ended up beginning to slow down. And, you know, that was shortly after I even said, you know, hey, it seems like this wants to make a push. Well, what happens when you take your foot off the gas pedal, right? So the difference between a stock and a car, we know that, you know, joke that I always make in class. Well, this is the exact example here, right? It ended up pulling back and going the complete other way. Thankfully, I made half a penny on this. So, you know, it's actually on a decent share count. It made it up for like 30 bucks. So take it. But nonetheless, though, this stock just seems to be like any of these from the gainer side so far this morning, just lackluster, not showing a lot of buying really at this point. The Qnrx is probably the healthiest out of these cheapies. Just it moved up really well after 7 o'clock. Hasn't done anything since. But maybe here it's beginning to show a little sign of life. So, you know, I'll come back to the cheapies, as I like to phrase them, at the end, you know, see if this one, you know, looks a lot better. FSRD was crap. This thing was dead here this morning. Boyle natural gas ETF. So we're not as particular about the ETFs here. You know, cold and UNG, we ended up actually putting on the afternoon list because they were showing great direction. You know, hey, this is showing some pretty good direction here too. So Boyle natural gas Bloomberg ETF. Let's see. I don't know what the inverse of this is, but we'll take a look on cold. I know well, I guess this is the inverse too. So I guess Boyle and UNG run together. Yeah. There's 2 different natural gas ETFs in particular. All right, so I guess I'll kind of slap these on the list here, but I'm not going to be trading them personally. I always like to kind of like just pull back the curtain and tell you what I'm trading. I'm not as particular about the ETFs myself, but, you know, we have a couple of our traders in our room that do well on like UVXY, SQQQ, and, you know, even that cold ETF before. So, you know, for UNG, cold, Boyle, looks like all of the natural gas ETFs are at least pretty active this morning. There's UNG on the gainer side. IMPP. No, this one's dead. All right, let's hop on over to the losers list, folks. We're already dipping below 5% here, so let's hop on over to the loser side. Cole's down big, so this was on the pre-market watch list going into the market open here. Cole's news, I would assume earnings, but I'm just going to double check Benzinga Pro because I thought they had earnings recently. Let's see. So Cole shares are trading lower following a CNBC report from late Thursday suggesting the company has terminated sale discussions franchise group. And that's what we got there. Looks like there is something also regarding Cole says they reaffirmed the commitment to a $500 million accelerated shares repurchase program. So, some headlines out there this morning. Cole's obviously, taking a huge hit this morning. It is shortable. It is very flat since 8 o'clock. So, I'm not a fan of the trend here, at least across pre-market. But for as much down as it is and as much selling as we've seen likely off the 29 level in particular, definitely it could be a very good short opportunity once we see confirmation of selling. So, Cole's I'll put on our main list here too. I could just take a quick look on like a Macy's. Nordstrom's going to be trading thinner, so Macy's I'd be more interested in. But even this, it's like not really doing much of anything in pre-market here. It's down a little bit, trading a little volume, but nothing too special about it. Chuck and Norman. Norman first says NRSN on the move. Oh, tried to. Yeah, like Norman phrased it actually that way, trying to move, and then now big slam back down. So. I wrote this down on my notepad this morning. Out of all the stocks that I kind of scanned through this morning, this was like one of like 8 or 10 I preliminarily threw down or wrote down on my watch list, but I didn't chart it. And right now, it's only seeming to look to break lower here going into the market open. Let's see from Mitch on YouTube. He says BRQS question mark. Yeah, that looks really nice. Interesting pop here after 9 o'clock. So definitely looks good going into the open. BRQS. This stock took a huge run up first, but then a huge hit afterwards, falling off from essentially 55, but over time it rounded off around like 30, 25-ish, dropped all the way down to, perhaps even sub $1 here, but sub 2. Making a nice pop this morning. Let's just check Benzinga Pro to see if there's any news on this trade. So this is like the only headline I have, folks. So basically it says BRQS as a subsidiary. I guess that highlights a signing of a $49.8 million worth of contracts in Q2 of 2022 in the state of Hawaii. That's the headline that it reads there. That's all I got. Hey, big pop. Hopefully there's a lot more left to it, but that doesn't seem like the biggest, most important headline out there. So if we lose momentum on this trade, this could easily crash back down. Just be careful of that. But, that could be a great call out here going into the open if the stars could align, if we happen to see support hold. Norman says some volume coming in on that Qnrx. So I forgot about that. Oh, wrote that up. Yeah, it's pushing back up ever so slightly. It was at 86 when we left off it. Now it's at 87. I'll slip it on our list. Doesn't hurt us to put the Qnrx on our watch list at this point. Not a fan of the cheapies as much, but showing good direction here. Why not? Chris says Benzinga Pro has a 50% off 4th of July sale. Well, that's very important for at least any of our students here because, we do, use Benzinga Pro here in the office, myself and Rich at least. And, it's a great help. A couple of our students, have it. And it's really good for at least, being on the ball for like real-time pops and drops. So the more you know, nice little 4th of July sale, I guess they have there. All right, folks, I think that just about wraps it up. I appreciate at least most of us that joined me at 9 o'clock being patient through my tech issues. I don't know what happened there at 9 o'clock. Lost my internet for a quick moment. All right, but hopefully that does not continue. If it does, at least it's as good of a day as any for that to happen because, again, we're not expecting a whole lot to happen here the day before the 4th of July weekend on Canada Day, nonetheless, right? So, just keep in mind, folks, once the volume begins to slow down, we're not going to really find as much opportunity. It's a good day to, get the gardening done, get some errands done, at least enjoy the sunshine out there if it's nice out by you. It's like 95 degrees out here in Long Island. I think I'll be doing exactly that at 12 o'clock. For all of us on YouTube and Facebook Live, I'll be back here later today, at least at 2:30 Eastern time. If you have any questions or anything that you would like to send over my way, feel more than free to do so. Send it to josh@ctutrading.com. I always like to post my email here at the end of these streams. Fausto will be enjoying his day off. I think he had mentioned that yesterday morning as well. But I'll be back here later on this afternoon. If you wanted to join us inside our live trading room, feel more than free to do so by going right down to the link on the blue banner below. But for Henry, for Grant, Robert, Nina, Chris, Norman, Chuck, and all of us here live, Leda included, I look forward to talking to you folks right here at the opening bell. Take care.
Become a Cyber Group member today. Just click the link below and receive all these amazing products and a world of knowledge for just $9.